My name is Mike Copeland. I'm the CEO of Arrington Performance and Diversified Creations, both out of Brighton, Michigan. This year at SEMA, we brought a 1964 Ford Falcon Futura. Last year, we debuted in this exact booth a 1948 Chevrolet pickup truck with a supercharged 6.2 LS, Magnuson supercharger on top of it. But the trick was it ran on hydrogen. That's zero emission. This year, we turned it up a notch. This Falcon is powered by a Gen III Coyote 5.0 liter. This has no supercharger, no boost at all. It runs on hydrogen as well, but we have a new technology that we're debuting in this vehicle where we use the port fuel injection as water. We use a direct injection as hydrogen, and we use the water to control the burn rate of the hydrogen. And this allows us to make more power on hydrogen in a naturally aspirated application than the factory did on gasoline. From the factory, this Gen III Coyote engine is rated at 460 horsepower at 7,000 RPM. With our hydrogen conversion, we'll add right at 10% to that. It puts us about 500, just over 500 horsepower. The other thing is, because of the burn rate of hydrogen, which is 3 times what gasoline is, and with our ability to control it, we're going to be able to raise the rev limiter from 7,000 to 8,000 RPM. The beauty to hydrogen, the sound, right? It still sounds just like it's on gasoline. If you didn't know, if I didn't tell you this was a hydrogen car, and you got in it and took off, you would not know. It drives, it runs, it sounds just like a gasoline engine. You want to do burnouts? Wind it up and turn the clutch loose. You want to go fast? Just mash the pedal, right? So that's the beauty of hydrogen in an internal combustion application. When we built this Falcon, I built cars to drive. I would not be surprised to see this out in that bronze lot next year, smoking the tires. So we built it with that purpose, right? We cover the bottom of cars like this for this build. We use lizard skin. It covers the bottom, it protects it, it gives us a surface that's not going to get damaged. We use TCI, total cost involved suspension components, in virtually every car we build. If they build a product for it, it's an easy decision for me, we're using it. They build a Falcon front suspension, and that's in this. They also build a Falcon rear suspension, but I wanted to do torque arm. We took their Mustang torque arm suspension system, modified it, and put it in this Falcon. So that's there. We use QA1 double adjustable shocks all the way around. So those are in every position, all coilovers. And we have front springs at 450 pound, rear springs at 150 pound. Big brakes. Brakes are crucial to what we do. If you're going to run a car and you're going to lay it out there, there is not a more scary feeling in the world when you roll into a corner at 160 and you stand on that pedal. That thing better work, right? We use Bear on most everything we build. This has Bear Pro Plus 6-piston calipers and Bear 14-inch rotors. Following the engine is just as important as the engine. So we use a McLeod clutch in this. Because of our 500 horsepower, their single disc works perfect, and we didn't need the added expense or the complexity or the weight of a dual disc setup. We have a QuickTime bell housing over it. Safety is crucial. When you're turning 8,000 RPM, if you were to ever damage a part, if a clutch ever came loose, you will thank your lucky stars you put that bell housing in there. Tremec TKX. I use Tremecs in anything I build with a stick shift. In the case here, American Powertrain, just like the last year's truck, they supported us with the TKX 5-speed. It's designed for high RPM shifting. If you run a traditional or you run some other form, you may have transmission shift issues, you'll miss gears, you'll do all that. These are designed to shift at 7,500 plus RPM. So we use that. The drive shaft in this is a QA1 carbon fiber unit. It's connected to a Mosier 9-inch rear axle. Mosier builds the axles for all of the cars I build. This is a 9-inch. It's only 31 spline because we're not pushing, 800, 1,000 horsepower. Probably never have drag slicks on this car. So 31 spline worked really well. It's a 350 ratio. We have in this car, and I use in most of the street cars that we build, the Eaton True Track differential. They work exceptionally well. They're quiet. I mean, I love Detroit lockers because they clunk and bang and shift the car around. But if you're going to drive it and enjoy it, a TrueTrack is a definite plus. The car behind me is painted liquid blue. That's a Ford color. They used it when they relaunched the Ford GT in 2019. The beauty part about this is I worked with Axalta. They came on board and supported us. This car is painted with waterborn paint. When you look at this car and you see the grille, how beautiful it is, how fully polished it is, you see all the moldings, all the stainless trim, you see all of the components, the body panels, the fits, the finish. A Falcon is not a Mustang. A few parts interchange, but you cannot buy parts for these cars. That grille, unobtainium. There's a panel in the rear that goes between the taillights. They just don't exist. This one was all beat up. It had dents all over it. The paint had been rubbed off of it through the years. I don't even know, and I'd be scared to tell you how many hours are in that grille. That had to be hand done in every crevice, and then done, anything that was done with a machine was done with a 3-inch buffing wheel on a die grinder and mother's polish. That's how we did it. If you look at the cars I build, for the last 5 years running, we debuted a car in the Redline Oil booth. This year I have 3 cars here. If you look at the cars I build, you'll see a reoccurring theme. I use products from companies that I have relationships with. I'm an engineer. I own speed shops. I've raced all over the world. I've done all of those things, right? I know the difference between good parts, okay parts, and bad parts, right? I choose to build relationships and work with companies that I know build good/great parts. In the case of this, and in the case of the truck, and in the case of a number of others that I build, I go to TCI, total cost involved. They have real live people that actually design their stuff, they engineer it, it works. I can't tell you how many products that we take out of the box and they have to be reworked before they go in. I don't have time for that. I don't want to have to do that. If I have an issue, I want to be able to call that company and I want to explain to them what my issue is, and I want them to give me the solution, right? I use TCI for suspension. It works. I can abuse it. I'm going to beat this car like a rental.